Hello and welcome back to the channel. As you may have seen, in the past couple of days I've been releasing videos regarding this beautiful machine right here, the Beer Monster. Now I did a video setting it up and unboxing it and all that stuff, and I did a video on the first pour, which, well, let's be honest, both of those videos had some issues. But anyway, it's now working and should be maybe a flawless experience. But to be honest, the beer I had out of it was very good. But one of the questions is, how long can these really keep one of those mini kegs, well, in good condition? Typically those mini kegs really aren't much good after 2 days. I think some people say 3, but really, in my experience, 2 days is the best you can get out of them. So I want to know, how good is the beer for how long out of this machine? Now, we're going to do a day-on-day test. Day 1 has already gone. If you want to see that video, link up there if you're interested, just to see how that first pint was. But we're going to test the video every day and mash it up all into this one. I don't know what the number of days is going to be, because I don't know when it's going to run out. So this might be a 3 or 4 day test, it might be a 7 or 10 day test. I don't really know, but anyway, whatever it is, you'll know from the title of this video, and let's get on with it. I'm probably going to use a slightly different glass every day. I'm certainly not going to use a pint of it every day, because, well, it will get depleted much faster. So we're just going to do a taste. I'll probably go to the 3rd pint mark on this glass, which I was going to say this glass isn't the cleanest, but actually that's watermarks on the outside, so no fear. So I'll zoom the camera in, you can watch the pour, and then we'll see where it's at. So we are at our required 8 degrees as per the thing there, 8 degrees for this stout, because it says it's a nice dark chocolate stout, so we don't want it too cold. Let's give it a blast. I'm also going to crank up the CO2 just for a second there. I heard it release. I think we're good to go. Right then. And there we have it. Now then, as you can see, there's not much head on that, but there wasn't on the first pint either, so I'm not really too surprised. There's arguably a bit less today, but it's a different style glass, and that all has an effect. Temperature-wise, it's very cool. It's 8 degrees. It could even be actually a bit lower than that, just based on touch. It's really quite cool. Yeah, anyway. The aroma is absolutely still there. If anything, it smells a bit better than it did yesterday. Now, obviously, day on day, it's hard to really be absolutely precise. You kind of know when a beer is no good anymore, but I'm getting much more chocolate aroma out of that today. Oh yes, oh yes, that's really puddingy. Right then, cheers. So it definitely tastes good. I am conscious that a bit of this beer will have been stuck in the beer line, so it might not be quite as fresh, but let's give it another swig. Aroma is definitely ramped up. That could be this glass though. Flavour is very similar. I'm getting a bit more bitterness, I think. The mouthfeel is still absolutely there. It was great yesterday, it's great today. As I say, I do feel like it might be a touch more bitter today, but I'm not even sure if that's real or whether it's just a bit of a, you know, a psychological bridge there, or even just a difference in the glassware. So it'll be interesting to try it in different glasses all throughout the week, see whether we get any ups and downs or that sort of thing. And yeah, I mean, a real test, I would have done this in the same glass, I suppose. But given that day 1 was a pint glass, and I don't necessarily want to do that one every day, I didn't introduce a dog hair to this one. Yeah, we'll keep going. And now it's day 3, using again a slightly different glass to the ones I've done so far. Very similar shape though to what I used on day 1, so it'll be interesting to see if it goes more back to what it was like then or not. The machine's, I mean, it's been sat there really. It clicks in every now and again to cool down. There's a bit of noise to it, but it's not too bad. So yeah, let's get on with it. We'll have a half pint or so. Gas back on. No noise from the gas this time, which is interesting. So that was a little bit underwhelming, wasn't it? It appears there's no gas left, but to be fair, I did mess around with the gas, as you well know. So probably not the machine's fault. I'm going to try the beer like this, just see, well, is the beer still okay, first of all, and then I'm going to change the gas canister and see if we can get it working properly. Aroma, still fantastic, deep chocolatey notes. That enhanced bitterness that was there yesterday, not really obvious today, so that was either circumstantial based on what I'd eaten that day, or just a difference in the glassware. There's a touch more of a lingering aftertaste, possibly. Chocolate's still rich, mouthfeel is still good, but obviously due to that lack of CO2, absolutely no head on it whatsoever. So we'll change the gas canister and then we'll find out what happens. Okay, so dead cartridge gone. I have also done a bit of rejiggery. I've taken the handle off. The keg that I had already had a handle on it, and to be honest, I think it was preventing a proper seal between the keg and the dispenser insert. So I've taken it off now because I can easily get it out with that, and to be honest, I can easily get that back on in there if I need to. So maybe you're meant to take it off anyway. I don't think you are, but anyway, we'll give it a go. Dead CO2 canister. Just go in the recycling that, I guess. So yeah, let's find out now what happens. I've regassed it. Let's pour again. Would you look at that? That is the best pour we've had off that machine by far, and it's only a little half pint. I think there was always a slight leak, which potentially means we've also had an oxygen leak into the beer, so it may not last that long, but we'll keep trying this experiment anyway, day by day. On that new pour, smells fresh. I wouldn't know that wasn't day one. That's decent. That's decent. So it's past the 3-day test, and to be honest, normally on 3 days one of those kegs I can tell immediately. So obviously beer to beer will vary a bit, but day 3 is a pass. On to day 4. And it's day 4. It's Friday today, just for a bit of context. So I'm about to do the live stream, so I'm going to use probably the same glass actually that I started on day 1 with, because, well, it's time for a pint, let's be honest. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the gas has stayed in this time. I'm going to do a kind of a helpful hints and tips of how I basically messed up using this machine, so that you don't have to after I've kind of gone through this process. But anyway, on to day number 4. The machine is at 9 degrees at the minute, so it's just going through its cooling cycle. You might be able to hear it on the mic, I'm not sure. Hopefully that will cool down in a second. Is it going to change? It doesn't normally take too long, maybe 5 minutes or so, but anyway, we'll get pouring. It doesn't really matter by 1 degree. And tweak the CO2 a bit, and now it's flowing just nice. So the CO2 has lost pressure again. Now, is it actually letting oxygen in, or, well, I don't really know at this point. There was a bit of head on this when I poured it after tweaking it up, but there's none now. But, I mean, maybe you are meant to jack the CO2 up every time you kind of start using it. I'm not really sure. But anyway, let's see what the beer's like. It still smells incredible, that deep chocolatiness. Cheers. Still rich in flavour, still got that nice silky mouthfeel. I feel like on the first swig the bitterness had come back a bit, but not really on subsequent, so I think that's just a situational thing. Is the beer still good after 4 days? Yes, yes it is. And that's with me cocking it up, so I'm not really sure. I'm kind of undecided at this point whether to continue doing this test or not, given that I know there's a load of issues that I've caused. I may finish this keg off tonight with the live stream rather than prolonging it out, and maybe do a better test where I've got the machine properly nailed. But anyway, I guess you'll find out in the next clip. Right then folks, day 5 I believe it is now. This is going to be a really quick one because rugby's starting any moment now and I just want a pint to go with it. So is it still any good? I've already gassed it, so we shouldn't have to go through that faff again. Day 5, is this beer still okay? Well, that's actually probably the most reasonable looking pint we've had out of it, weirdly, day 5. That head is actually not disappearing immediately, and well, it looks good. For reference, it's Saturday, I went out for lunch, had a couple of pints with a friend, so to be honest, if this is no good, it should really tell because I've had a couple of fantastic pints while I've been out, so let's get into it. Aroma is still absolutely on point, super chocolatey. There's a slight extra bitterness again, but I'm starting to think that's just this beer. That is still fresh. That is still, yeah, that's absolutely on point. Day 5, no issues at all. Let's try again tomorrow. Right then folks, day 6, and going for the tulip kind of style glass today. F1's about to start in an hour, so let's get a beer poured. We'll go watch it. Little bit of gas. And here we go. Still obviously quite a flat head, not as much as I think I got on yesterday's, but it still looks good and there's still a bit hanging around. To be honest, I filled this a bit much, so I'm not sure how easy it's going to be to get some aroma, but oh yeah, it's still there. Jeez, I mean, this beer really just, it needs to be experienced to explain the richness of the chocolate on that is incredible. Right then, cheers. That is still great. I mean, that's not... I feel like I'm actively looking for issues at this point. Like it's day 6, so it's been in more than 5 whole days, if you like, because day 1 was the day it went in. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm looking for issues here, and the first sip, I always think, oh, it's gone a bit bitter, maybe it is going off, but no, I don't think so. Maybe the tiniest bit of a lingering aftertaste now, maybe. But I've just eaten an apple not long ago, so that really could mess up this entire kind of taste test. I'm still happy to leave it for another day. I'm not going to try and rush to finish it today because I think it's going off. So I'll finish this one up. I think it's still solid, but another day, should be sure to find out. See you tomorrow. Okay, day 7. To be honest, didn't think we'd get here for some reason. I thought, well, it'd either all be gone or definitely have gone off by now. But anyway, day 7, the 7th day, not 7 whole days, because I've confused all this a lot, really. But anyway, it went in on a Tuesday. It's now Monday the following week. Let's see what happens. Going with the fancy decorated craft style tumbler glass thing today. Let's see how it is. Gas on for a few seconds. Managed to get some head on it today. To be honest, I think it's a learning curve between how much gas to add and how to pour it and that sort of thing. So looking good. This beer just smells incredible. I mean, you've heard that now, what, 6 times? So apologies, but hey, it is great. Cheers. That feels better than it did yesterday. What the hell? Okay, day 7, still fantastic. See you tomorrow. And day 8. Now, I'm going to call it here because it's now been an entire 7 whole days since that keg went into that machine behind me, which, to be honest, I mean, it's never going to last that long. I've been purposely not drinking it to do this test, and I just don't see anyone using this in a situation that goes, I'm going to put a mini keg in here and hope it lasts 2 weeks, because, well, I don't know, I don't see it. And you know what, if that is you and you want the test, let me know in the comments below and I will do it again. But for now, I think with this one, given all of the adjustments that had to be made at the beginning, the fact that this might still be good after a week, I think is just incredible alone. So we're going to try it now and then we'll kind of summarise, yeah, the thoughts. So here we go for pour. What number pour is it? It's day 8, it's probably pour 7. Okay, the gas has just gone very quiet, so I don't know whether we've managed to tank through yet another cartridge. Now, you're not telling me that's not one of the best pints I've poured so far in this whole test. I mean, that looks fantastic. It's even got a bit of head on it. And to be honest, at the end of that pour, I don't know if you noticed, there's a tiny bit of sputtering. I reckon the keg is about out. So wrapping this up at 7 days is pretty much there. I mean, we could have done a half pint and got one more day out of it, but, well, day 8, you know what I mean? It's all confusing. We've done over a week anyway. So let's get into it. That looks absolutely mind-blowing for a thing that's been sat open in my office for a week, for over a week. Incredible. Right, aroma. I don't need to say it again. It's bliss. Cheers. I'm getting what I feel like is a little bit more residual sharpness than on any other day. I know it's kind of ebbed and flowed on the others, but I feel like there's maybe just a waffer more today. I don't know why I went almost a creosote there. A wafer thin mint there. But that said, I did eat something pretty sweet about 20 minutes ago, so it's always hard to judge. But to be honest, texture's still sublime. Aroma's there, and the taste is all the way through exactly as it was. It's just a bit, the aftertaste is maybe, again, just slightly more bitter, but it's hard to tell really whether that's actually the beer having been affected by kind of exposure to oxygen, or whether it's actually just based on what I've eaten today. So again, I have no issues with this. I'm gonna happily swirl that around, and even I did succeed in getting beer just about everywhere there. I'll have to mop that up in a second. So, final thoughts. Well, I've never been a big fan of these mini kegs for 2 reasons, and that is they go off too quick, 2 days really, and they don't condition the beer very well. Bit flat, overhyped, whatever. This was a bit flat to start with, but actually, I mean, as we've got to the end, we've managed to do something pretty good with it. And the fact that I can at any point just swing in and have half a pint or whatever is, there's something about that that's quite, I don't know, something quite nice about that. Almost not having to make a decision on what very, very out there craft beer can that I fancy that evening or whatever. The fact there's just, you know what, quick half while I watch some TV or something like that. Yeah, there's a thing there that I think maybe a lot of people don't get into, but sometimes just a small amount of especially something like this that's a bit deeper, a bit richer, but not too strong either. You're not looking to drink as such, but just I don't know what it is. There's a comforting, especially this time of year, it's getting cold. That's a big appeal for me, and it keeps it at temperature as well, which is fantastic. So far, again, big thumbs up. Yes, it was faffy. We'll go through more in detail, I guess, on exactly what my issues were and how not to do them yourself. But yeah, that's it for this one. Blue Monkey Gorilla on it, despite it not looking the most appealing at the start, actually by the end, that's that head stain on there. That head stain on there. There's no question. So by the end, we got it nailed. Absolutely cracking pint. And next up on this machine, something entirely different. I have sat downstairs, primed and ready, a 5 litre mini keg of ABK Hells. So that's going in next. Videos to follow very soon. I probably won't do the full 7-day test on that one. I'll certainly do a first test and kind of review, and then maybe we'll do a catch-up video later on just to see how we got on with it. But yeah, for now, that's it. Beer Monster, not without its flaws, not without its learning curve, but honestly, pours a great pint when you get it right. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you haven't already, subscribe if you will be so kind, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.